Hello again, friends and compatriots. This is Sydney, and welcome to my reading log for February of 2025. I'm going to be starting with Kodansha today, starting with A Condition Called Love, Volume 11. We had a conflict between the two characters kind of resolve itself, and we had the two main characters grow a bit from their conflict in this volume. I enjoyed it. I like when they get more depth to them and that they're slowly getting even more developed over time, that they're not just a kind of one and done thing where their negative trait is dealt with once and then goes away forever. It's kind of something that remains. I'm being a bit vague about this to not entirely spoil what happens in the story, but it's a very good shoujo series, honestly. It gets a lot of hate because the main male lead does come off as an asshole, but they are teenagers, so it's understandable. Next, we've got Welcome to Demon School, Irma Kun, volume... Is that on the cover? Volume 12. We've got Irma in a little mini training arc in this volume, finally learning actual fighting skills thanks to a very sassy, small child-looking girl, which is fairly norm in anime and manga nowadays, but still a great series, still loving it. I really like the character designs of the new generals that are leading some of the other classmates of Irma, who all have their own little training arcs. It was a very fun part in the anime, and it's just as good in the manga. Now, for the oversized Kodanshas, we've got The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, seinen that a lot of people are talking, or seinen, shonen, I'm not sure which, romance that a lot of people really like and are talking about. We have a very cute arc with Rintaro learning to try and bake a cake for, what is her name actually? Karuko, thank you. For Karuko's birthday, and the whole thing's just really cute. We also have development of Karuko's best friend here in this volume. I think it's a really good series so far, and I look forward to reading more of it every time I pick it up. Speaking of great romances, we have Gazing at the Star Next Door, Volume 4. We'll talk about some minor spoilers in this volume. Well, fairly major spoilers just because I want to kind of address it. I really like how it's kind of handling this romance with a lot of nuance between the two main characters. Because it kind of seems like one of them is interested, the other one isn't, but there's layers to it and there's depth to it. So I'm really, really enjoying it so far, and I would definitely recommend this to shoujo romance fans out there who haven't heard of the series. Oddly enough, the shoujo series that have the poetic titles usually end up being better to me. Maybe it's just because I like weird, kind of pretentious titles. Then we've got Hitorajime My Hero, Volume 15. We've got some relationship issues between the two main characters. This looks like it's a wedding on the front, but there's nothing like that at all in this volume. Like, they even hint at it saying, like, is this what married life is like? And like, no. The relationship's cooling off because of certain factors that are going on, that sort of thing. I've continued to just not really be a huge fan of Hitorajime. I'm kind of just reading it to finish it at this point, unfortunately. Then we've got for the last Kodansha read of the month, we had Vinland Saga, the Deluxe Edition, Volume 6, which is volumes 18 to 21, I think. 18, 19, 20, 18 to 20? You would think I'd be better at math at this point. I actually don't remember too many of the specifics from this volume, if I'm being frank. So this one I read earlier in the month. Oh yeah, we have the continuation of the characters journeying to, I think it's Greece? Or again, they're not journeying, they're trying to go to Greece, yes. We have the main character's past catching up to him. We have conflict arising from that, and then another part of his past catching up to him when they go to a different part of the world, catching up to him in a way that really forces him to reflect on what he's done and tries to show another person how to have growth from that. Really like Vinland Saga, and it's best for me to not describe too much of the details because it's a very good series to go in blind to, in my personal opinion. And we do have one-shot doujinshi, which is Under the Mistletoe, which is When Pink Rain Falls, Volume 3 by Yoyu. I started reading this with the first doujinshi, and I think it's a very cute romance. It's slow. There's not a lot of stuff that happens in the volumes, but I do enjoy the two characters. I like the art, and it's always like a instant pickup when I see another volume of it gets published. And I think this one's through Starfruit Books, but I don't know if it's still available at this point. I'm looking forward to any future works by Yoyu. All right, I think next I'm going to touch Yen Press with another great shoujo high school romance story, Honey Lemon Soda, Volume 8. We've got a lot of development happening in this volume with the main characters' thoughts about each other, and it's really exciting to see things finally moving along. And I'm really curious how things are going to go in the future after what happens in this volume. I've heard a lot of people. I guess I'll kind of just go out and say it. It's the volume where she confesses her feelings to him, and they're starting to date. So it's going to be probably a lot of time spent about her learning how to be in a relationship and him kind of guiding her without full out teaching her. Very looking forward to future volumes of this series. I think it's a great read so far, and I would definitely recommend it if you are at all interested in the genre. We've got Miruko-chan, Volume 10. We've got the arc with the tentacle classmate girl finishing in this volume. At the very least, coming to a pretty decent head. Well, it doesn't finish. Her role in it finishes, I believe. And then we have another aspect of it that gets revealed that's going to lead into a different arc. But really enjoy this series so far, and I always look forward to new volumes. I'm saying that about a lot of stuff, but I'm kind of gotten very picky about series that I pick up at this point. We've got Oshinoko Volume 9 as well. In this volume, we've actually got a reversal of characters. We have Aqua working more on his career as an actor, actually wanting to pursue being more of an actor. And we have, what is her name? Ruby? And we have Ruby kind of assuming Aqua's previous thoughts and ideas after she finally catches up to like some of the things that are going on. Again, vagueness because this is a story-heavy series. Next, we've got Pink and Habanero Volume 2. I slammed through the first volume. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy this Volume 2. There's nothing like super interesting or unique about it. It's just cute, enjoyable characters, good premise. Overall, like a real fast, fun page-turner for me personally. With this volume of Shy, we have the major fight finishing. We have the two characters. These two characters, their arcs finishing, and I'm not sure exactly what happened, what it's leading into after this. I don't remember the specifics, but the major part of this volume is finishing this arc, which was a fun fight. Shy, I've kind of grown a little less interested as time goes on, personally. Then we have The Ultimate Tragedy, the final volume of Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, Volume 4, because the manga did not adapt all of the light novel this time around, which I just recently learned that there is another adaptation of Sugar Apple Fairy Tale into a manga form, only in Japan at this point, but that's only at one volume so far, and I really just want somebody to like continuously adapt the light novel because I want to know what happens in it, but I don't want to read a light novel, and I don't want to wait for the anime to get another season that it probably isn't. But I still love the story. I think the manga, the art's really good. It's just a shame it had to end so early. Next, we've got Oversized Yen Presses. Starting with Beware the Villainess, Volume 2. This is actually probably one of the faster villainesses I read. It's a very tongue-in-cheek version, a very tongue-in-cheek interpretation of the villainess subgenre. A lot less political intrigue, a lot more in-jokes. for people who enjoy the villainess series, who enjoy reading villainess series and know the tropes in and out. We also have a puppy boy in this volume, which was very, very unexpected and very appreciated. I do love puppy boys. Next, we've got not the final volume of Business Proposal, Volume 8, even though with shoujo, a lot of these volumes that have weddings or wedding attire on the cover are final volumes. This one is a couple volumes from the end, and I mean, obviously, spoilers for what happens in this volume. You see by the cover what happens. But this happens. The relationship finally hits a denouement, hits the natural conclusion of where stories end off being told. And I think the next two volumes are kind of going to just kind of resolve lingering plot threads and lingering character relationships going on. But yeah, I still really like this series. It's a cute office romance in a manga form. Then we've got Kill the Villainess, Volume 1. And this is a new series, Ise Press, art by Heiji, original story by Your April. This is a series about a girl who is reincarnated into the world of an otome game as a villainess. I don't know if it's an otome game or a novel. She essentially wants to end her life in this world and has found that she is completely unable to. So she's trying to find a way to die in this world. But unfortunately, the world seems to want her to keep persisting with the story, as is the trope with a lot of these villainess series, is that when you're in the story, you can't really escape the natural flow of it. It's going to take over and actually occur the way it's supposed to occur. I think my only issue I've had with this series is, unfortunately, even though the cover is very nice, I don't think I very much enjoyed the art in this volume. To be fair, I've been spoiled by the art of a lot of these other villainess series that have absolutely gorgeous illustrations like Who Made Me a Princess and Villains Are Destined to Die. But I was a little underwhelmed by the art in this series. I'm enjoying this story, and I'm going to keep reading it because of that. And the art's not really that much of a hamper on it. I just wanted to mention it. Then we've got a debut volume, Takahashi from the Bike Shop, Volume 1 by Arare Matsumashi. This is a series about I think she's an office worker who is just kind of struggling through her everyday life at the office, and she runs across a delinquent-looking man who works at a bike shop, who offers to help her fix her bike, and some minor sparks fly. And of course, it's a romance, so they're going to get together. I think it was really cute. The art's very unique, very distinctive. And I looked forward to getting this from when I saw it was announced, because we don't often see delinquent types that aren't high schoolers. Some people don't age out of looking like this. They kind of keep looking like that into their 20s, their 30s, that sort of thing. And I like seeing that in manga. Then we've got the final volume of Tied to You, Volume 4. I hated this. They almost felt like they were going to go somewhere with the story that I wanted them to, but they did not. So ultimately, regardless of the fact that a lot of what he did was absolutely terrible, it was just swept under the rug. He did it for him. It's good. It's perfectly fine. Yeah, perfectly fine. I didn't like this. Other people seem to have liked it, but I hated it from the moment his asshole tendencies were revealed. So yeah, unfortunately, that it's kind of been ruined for me. Next, we've got Tokyo Babylon Volume 6. Things are coming to a head with the looming threat of Mr. Yaoi Hands and how he's really going to play a role as an antagonistic force in this series. And I'm really looking forward to seeing all of that unravel itself in these last one or two volumes. Then we've got The Villainess Turns the Hourglass, Volume 6. This almost felt like a final volume until halfway through the volume, because we have the main plot resolving itself, and then we have kind of some new things happening from it, some new changes to Miss Girly Pop here, and the dynamic with her sister. Very much enjoyed that. And next we have a series that's been like 20 years since the last volume, Villains Are Destined to Die, Volume 7. With this volume, we have, it seems like we're about to get to one of the endings, but then something kind of doesn't quite work and things kind of start falling apart for the main character. And we get to see the fallout of that and what she's going to do going forward and how that's going to affect the story. Great villainess series. Definitely a good one to try if you want to check out the villainess genre, especially in the manosphere. That's all the Yin Press, Ise Press. I'm going to do a couple ones that I don't have a lot from. So I have Tokyo Pop with I Was Reincarnated as the Villainess in an Otome Game, but the Boys Love Me Anyways, Volumes 5 and 6. Because Volume 5 took 70 years to get into the store that I buy my books at. I don't really remember too many of the details of these volumes, unfortunately. Oh yeah, we had some actual intrigue popping up in this 6th volume. Not yet, 5th and 6th volume. We had some stuff with stalkers, some stuff with people not being who they say they are. I'm kind of iffy on this series personally, but I think it's only because it's so long between volumes that I forget so many of the details before I read the next volume. I still enjoy it because it's a villainess, but yeah. Next we've got a single J-Novel Club with the Tyrman Empire, Volume 6. We've got, is this J-Novel Club? Yeah, J-Novel Heart. Excuse me, I can't forget Novel Heart. That was stupid. Anyways, we've got Tia trying to, is it Tia? Mia. We've got Mia trying to stop a literal war from breaking out in this forest between the people who live in the forest and the nobles who are trying to, I think, cut through the forest, take over the forest and claim it for themselves. We have that happening. We have a new character who is learning about Mia's eccentricities and, of course, assuming the best about her. Great series. Love it so much. Not going to spoil too much about it. Then we've got Villainess, Level 99. I may be the hidden boss, but I'm not the Demon Lord. Volume 4 through One Piece books. This volume, we've got some dragon flying, obviously. We've got... Oh, yeah. We've got what seems like maybe the main character's realizing some of her feelings, but... It's a villainess. She's very daft with her emotional connections for some reason. We've got... Yeah, I don't want to say everything that happens in this volume. Still a good series. Like reading it. And then we've got a couple Square Enixes, starting with the first volume, The Otaku Love Connection, Volume 1 by Chu Amiro, about a guy who is basically smitten with shipping 2 of his very attractive classmates, and always just kind of like, I wouldn't say stalks, but like watches them and freaks out over them, fangirls, that sort of thing. And the kind of twist on it is that he's also an extremely attractive person, but he just doesn't really realize that and think too much about it. And we get to watch his antics about this for a while, and we get to see them and their true colors and how they actually are, as opposed to how they try and put themselves on for each other and for all the people around them. And then we have Miss Girly Pop here, who is actually kind of standing him and also standing them. And the standing might actually be a little bit of a, actually, less for standing him, more of a crush on him. But yeah, it's a very fun, stupid series. I like it. And I think Chew is like the onomatopoeia for kiss. So that's a cute little name to have, unless that's their actual name. I don't know. We've got another Square Enix with Cherry Magic 13, 30 Years of Virginity Can Make You a Wizard. We've got actual real development between the author and the newly turned idol boy, finally kind of moving forward in their relationship, and of course the secret being revealed to the idol boy and how that affects their relationship. We've got Adachi and Boobadabapa, I don't remember names. Adachi and Kurosawa, of course, being themselves. I don't really remember specifics of what they do in this volume, unfortunately. We've got a single volume from Denpa with March Comes in Like a Lion, Volume 3, Machika Umino. We've got a kind of major, not breaking point, but just the main character hitting kind of like a stall and not being able to do well in his shogi career. So he's really trying to prepare himself for the future. And then we have, or prepare himself for a fight that's coming up in this volume, I should say. I'm getting the plot kind of mixed up from the previous volumes. Then we also have some exploration of some of these older shogi players, diving a bit into their backstory and their relationships with each other. And of course, the main character realizing that he wants to have a place in her like family role because he doesn't really have his own family at home. It's a very touching, good drama series. Now let's get into Seven Seas with a complete shift in tone, 2.5 Dimensional Seduction, Volume 13, featuring Miss Nasty Girly with the shark teeth, kind of opening up to her softer side and realizing her emotions about things, realizing that people don't all despise her. And we also have some gay shit, like minor gay shit, as in one of these twins is cross-playing as a woman. It's normally a guy. I don't think there's any gender expression that he indicates that he's actually prefers being dressed like a girl. I don't remember exactly, but some like femboy fan service, which is kind of a fun twist on this. Again, this story is just a bunch of horny with a strong punch of wholesome, sweet, decent character development and relationship growth. I do very much enjoy it, and I would encourage more people to read it and not to be completely put off by the ecchi present in it. Then we've got the final two volumes of Cinderella Closet, Volume 7 and 8, and this is kind of concluding the arc with the main two characters finally ending up together. I do enjoy it. I think I was a little put off by the relationship at first, but I've come to accept it more, especially now that I've seen the ending. I think the only gripe I really have is that I wanted more of his backstory with his parents, because they kind of just seem to throw it in the last volume, like hint at it a little bit in the 7th and throw it in the last volume, but I wanted like more time with it, because we did spend a lot of time in this volume with her trying to help with his family situation, but I would have liked more time to linger on the family situation and to really feel the reasons why everybody felt the way they did. I think overall it was a good shoujo series, and I don't regret picking it up in the slightest. And then we've got Daily Report About My Witch Senpai, Volume 4, and I think we actually have some... Oh yes, we also have in this series the main male lead also, just like in the other one, has complicated family issues. So we have the main female lead trying to help, and, you know, because she's a very sweet, kind person, and she's trying to kind of help patch things. No, does she actually? I think she doesn't play as big of a role as the girl in Cinderella Closet, but she kind of interjects and tries to help things. But serendipity kind of ends up bringing the two together, and we get to see why she kind of abandoned him, and how he feels about it, what they're going to move on with as their emotions going forward. It was a nice volume, a good read. Oh, don't do that. Then we've got the final volume of Delinquent Daddy and Tender Teacher, Volume 6, with, of course, not really like a dynamic like, oh my gosh, this ended. It was just kind of like, okay, this is the end of the story. This is all that's being told at this point. We have the two characters. I think they actually end up moving in. Yeah, they end up moving in, and then the relationship develops a bit further, and then we kind of cut to black, and then I think at the end we actually get like a little epilogue showing the little boy grown up more. And spoiler, like, skip this part if you don't want to know, but little boy's like, dad finally admits to him, he's like, oh yeah, we're dating, and he's like, okay, yeah, what about it? It was very silly. This was a cute series. I like it. Even if the boy's a little bit crazy looking, he looks like an alien. Then we've got Diary of a Female Lead, Volume 2, Shinshukuniki. We've got the main character actually, now that she's tried to kind of put effort into her looks and put effort into herself, attracted the attention of a guy and kind of starts dating him and somewhat falling for him, or at least she thinks she's falling for him. And then, of course, we have things happen with that relationship, and then we find out how that helps her develop her feelings and her emotions about being in a relationship and developing love. This is a good series. I enjoy it so far. Again, I like these weirdly pretentious titles. I think it wouldn't be as pretentious if it was just Diary of a Female Lead, but the fact that they included the Japanese title under it kind of made it sound more pretentious. Anyways, next we've got I Ship My Rival X Me Volume 2. I don't really remember too many specifics about this volume. We've got a lot of this boy kind of innocently building up the shipping culture around them by just playing into it super hard. And we've got kind of like hints that maybe they are going to kind of realize feelings for each other. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. I don't think this is a terribly long series though, but the art's cute. The characters are well written. I think it's enjoyable so far. And it's nice to see a manhwa from, no, I almost said a manhwa from China, like duh, manhwa are Chinese. A manhwa that is not just cultivation. Because there's not like a lot of manhwa over here. It's a lot of manhwa, but not a lot of manhwa. Or at least recently. Anyways, next we've got King the Land Volume 1. This is a series. Oh, it's written by Choi Rome with art by Spoon, who is the artist behind Who Made Me a Princess. As I've already splurged about earlier, very beautiful art. Story about a rich boy and a girl who is the daughter of one of his, I guess servant is the right word, but that kind of carries a negative connotation. One of the workers who works at his family's house. And we kind of have a little relationship developing between them, not like romantic fully, but a friendship into perhaps hinting at romance. This is a prequel to a K-drama, and I don't know if it's exactly a prequel or if it just kind of covers some of the stuff in the volumes or in the series. Anyways, it's only a 2-volume series that was like a promotional thing released for the K-drama. And maybe I'll watch the K-drama because of this. But again, I'm probably just really charmed by Spoon's art. I'll show you a little bit of it here. She's got a very, very pretty, bright art style that really plays to these characters well. All right, and that's all of 7 Seas, and the rest is going to be Viz. Big surprise. We've got Free Rim Beyond Journey's End, Volume 12. We've got, this entire volume is based on is surrounding the time travel thing that happens in the series, which is kind of a spoiler in and of itself, but we'll see more as the series, as like these 2 volumes unravel. What happened, why it happened. It's a nice way for her to kind of reflect on the growth that she's had since she was with her party, and a way for us to kind of get an even better perspective of how their relationship was amongst each other when they were in the party outside of these flashbacks. So it's enjoyable, very enjoyable so far. Then we've got a few shoujo beat with Colette Decides to Die Volume 2. This volume we've got Colette actually taking on some new roles about a new role to heal in the celestial realm because Apollo just fucked off to somewhere. Pardon my French. I mean, her name's Colette. I gotta be French. Anyways, we've got her assuming that role, and then I don't really remember specifics after that. I think pretty much the entire volume is about her assuming that role in the celestial realm, and then how it affects her character. We get a small sub-story that is expanding upon the boatkeeper for the River Styx, Charon, about Charon's backstory, and I really liked how they interpreted that backstory. I don't think Charon actually had that sort of story in the established mythology, so I think it might be original to the series. I very much enjoyed it. Yeah, it's a really good series so far, and I recommend anybody who is a fan of like shoujo or a fan of kind of like historical mythological fiction to check it out, even if a lot of the characters are very like shoujo magazine-ified. Like, they're not like super masculine, super buff. They're very like slim, femme, and ready to. I couldn't think of anything. Anyways, I do like. I think Chiron has an interesting design that kind of plays between the shoujo art style in general and the Greek origins. And the skeletons are very cute and silly looking. Anyways, next we've got In the Name of the Mermaid Princess, Volume 5. And we've got... I think we've got Chica finally revealing himself to the main character in this volume. Yeah, we have that happening in this volume. And things are pretty much going to reach an end very soon, because she ended up about where I think she ended up where she was aiming for. And now what is happening? Oh gosh, I don't remember what exactly the next point is in the story. Anyways, we're wrapping up the story soon. We've got development between the main character and Chica, the prince. I really enjoyed this series, even if it seems like I didn't really have much to say about it this time around. Then we've got Red River, Volumes 4 through 6 by Chie Shinohara. Of course, the classic shoujo series. More people need to buy this so we can get other classic shoujo series reprinted in this format. By Viz especially, because Viz does not like their shoujo for some reason. Anyways, a lot of his like war and battle stuff happens this volume. We've got her getting, I think she gets kidnapped initially in this volume. Then, yeah, she is kidnapped. There's a lot that happens in this volume. It's a little hard to go over the specifics because I would just be blathering on for like 10 minutes. But there's a lot of action and some more romantic development between her and another character that's kind of contrasting the main romantic development that is happening. We have her kind of even trying harder to find her own strength and become a central role in her own life. And it's a great series, and I want more people to read it, honestly. I think it fits best for an older teen to young adult demographic, so keep that in mind if you're curious about it. It's not like super, super fluffy romance. It's a lot of angst and war, and also some romance in it. And then we've got the last shoujo beat, which is Sakura Saku Volume 6. We are a couple volumes away from the end here. We have a character maybe realizing that they have feelings for somebody else that is happening a little too late in the series for it to really matter. Of course, the main relationship's developing as it develops. The school festival, things ensue. I still think it's a well-written, good shoujo romance. There's just not a lot like super unique about it at this point in the at this stage in the series, but it's definitely worth a read in my opinion. Next, we've got Akane Banashi Volume 10 featuring the Furry Squad. They're all dressed in little kigus to help kind of sell this children's Rakugo event. Very fun. We've got, let's see. Yeah, Akane is working with a couple other Rakugoka to try and meet the demands of a trial set by one of the Rakugoka. I don't know if it's a master or not because I don't remember the full specifics. They're working to get that figured out. It's a good way for her to develop her skills along with the main person who's trying to develop their skills, because it was a challenge set by their master in order to kind of work up the ranks. But yeah, I really like it. I think there was actually another character who we got a very detailed Rakugoka from. Yes, Mr. Shark Boy. Mr. Sharp Teeth Shark Boy, who I think kind of cute. We got to learn more about his Rakugo and how it differs from everybody else's style, which is, I think, one of the best aspects of this series, is how everybody who is a notable Rakugoka has their own unique, distinctive style and traits and quirks that kind of make them stand out from everybody else. And I think that takes a lot of skill to write all these very distinct styles of Rakugo. Anyways, next we've got Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Volume 1. This takes place after the time skip that happens at the end of Boruto. I can't spoil too much about what happens in the time skip because it's a major, major twist for the end of Boruto. But I'm enjoying this so far. The redesigns for some of the characters are, I mean, they're not bad. The plot was an interesting way to take this, but we do seem to have established even more antagonists this volume, which I'm looking forward to seeing how they approach that, how they approach what happened in the time skip, or what happened prior to the time skip, and they just introduced a lot of mysteries in this volume, so I'm very interested to see how all those kind of work themselves out. Then we've got Dandadan Volume 11. The last volume kind of left off with a cliffhanger of everybody getting into fights. We've got that finishing up, and then we find out why that happened, and everybody has to kind of start preparing themselves because they're going to be going through an even bigger fight soon. So they have like a kind of training arc sort of thing they go through. We have some revelations about one of the characters, what they're doing here, potentially, but I'm being vague about that to avoid major spoilers. Next up, we've got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Shining Diamonds Demonic Heartbreak Volume 2. In this volume, we've got a few things happening. We've got Josuke interacting more with the girl who ended up taking Mr. Man, Mr. Boy, what is his name? Oh gosh, I forgot his name. The kid who has the comic book. She ends up with his comic book, and we have Josuke kind of confronting her in this volume. Oh yeah, we have somebody taking advantage of the parrot's stand powers to cause chaos in Morio. That's kind of like the first half of this volume. The second half is that. The action's a little difficult to follow in that first section, and the plot's a little bit confusing, in my opinion, but I think I'm enjoying it a little bit better than the first volume so far, but yeah. It's only going to be one more volume, so it's not going to be that much longer. Then we've got Kagurabachi Volume 2. Shonen that a lot of people have heard of by this point because it got like uber popular. We've got a major fight happening in this volume between the main character and Mr. Psychopath, wide-eyed, crazy hair. Sorry about that. My voice gets a little rough after a while. He actually he's fighting him, and they have conflicting views of his father because he believed that he created these katanas as these dangerous weapons, and he has a very, very different perspective of his father. He idolizes him for a reason that is completely different than him because he sees his father as who he is. He sees his father as somebody that he's seemingly not, because he sees his father as a lot like purer and nicer and kinder because he's seen outside of the legendary swordsmith. So we kind of have like the contrasting ideologies of these two characters hitting hard in this volume with some good action, pretty decent character development. Yeah, I enjoy this series a lot, and I think it's a great new shonen. And then we've got Mission Yozakura Family Volume 15. We've got the main plot with Kyoichiro, I think is his name? Yes, with tracking down Kyoichiro and figuring out why he did what he did to the family in this volume. Then we've got everybody kind of banding together to figure out what to do next. And yeah, some more psycho shit with the father. I think we have a couple light chapters in this volume to kind of try and help because it's been a lot of heavy stuff so far. I'm just noticing I have some stuff that's a little in the frame, so let me just scoot that out. We're gonna pretend like that never existed in the first place. So yeah. Anyways, next up we've got My Hero Academia Volume 40. This is a lot of this volume is the fight between All Might in his weird Batman-esque, crazy, quirked up white boy suit with like all of these quirks getting thrown around as he fights All For One. Yeah, if I'm being honest, it's a very confusing fight. There's a lot going on. The choreography's not great. It's interesting at the very least. That's kind of the main thing that happens in this volume. I don't really remember specifics outside of that. Oh yeah, we do have some of the secondary characters in their own fights. We have Bakugo. Yeah, we have Bakugo's fight. Bakugo and Deku's fight with Mr. Melty Disintegrate Hands. I don't remember his name. We have that kind of like being cut to as All Might fights All For One. Like there's all the plot threads are like finally converging together, because I think there's only a couple more volumes left, so it's probably going to end. It's going to end very soon. It seems like things are reaching a natural conclusion with the fights finally, but unfortunately the war arc is like the end of the series, kind of like what happened with Shippuden. But yeah, still iffy on My Hero Academia's last arc personally. And then we've got Boys Abyss Volume 8. We've got just a lot that happens in this volume. Some more depth about the black-haired character that is kind of friend/bully to the main character. We have some resolution with the teacher, a completely different change in Chaco, like all sorts of dramatic shit happening. I still really enjoy it. It's a very fast, very emotional read. But yeah, not for everybody, but for me, I love it. Then we've got Trojan X Volume 8. We have, I think they were trying to finish the search for the drug, and they, of course, the main character had to kind of stop it and help somebody who was going berserk. We find out that person who was going berserk is kind of like a bit of a spoiler, the person who was making the corpses. We find out why she went berserk, what her powers were, and she kind of gets, I think she gets pulled into the fold a little bit. I don't remember too much of what happens outside of that. Let's see. Yeah, I guess at the very end we have like more development between the main two male leads, relationship with each other, because it did kind of not be touched on for a while. When I say relationship between each other, it's a very platonic, like their friendship and how it's developing and how it's changed since they both have gotten their powers. Yeah, it's good, enjoyable. Then we've got Hirayasumi Volume 4. In this volume we've got Natsumi trying to host a party at home. We've got we've got a lot of the characters and their individual relationships being touched upon in this volume. Their individual friendships and relationships growing. The holiday party where she realizes that she might have friends in places she didn't realize she had friends, even if those friends are very flawed people. It's a good slice of life with some good emotional moments in it. Then we've got Majilumie Volume 6. I believe in this volume, we finish up the fight with the entity that they are brawling with. I think that's like the first half of the volume. And then we have a couple new characters introduced into the fold as Majilumie grows and develops more of a positive reputation in the magical girls industry. It's enjoyable. I like it. I didn't really think about picking it up till my partner picked it up, so I started reading it, and I really do enjoy it. Then we've got Rooster Fighter Volume 7. What a coincidence. In this volume, we've got another into a major fight that also leads into some very interesting things happening to one of the characters that is going to potentially shape what's going to happen next in the series, because we had like the end of a major fight and then it turns out the fight's not over, but not because the main bad guy that was there didn't get defeated, but because of something else that happened. It's very stupid, tongue-in-cheek, kind of like a parody of like Fist of the North Star style stuff, but it's got its own like heart and its own story to it that I really enjoy. And then we've got Steel the Celestial Shadows Volume 5, and I don't remember too many specifics about this volume. Let's see, is the gambling really most of this volume? Let's see. Gosh, I really don't remember a lot of stuff in this volume, if I'm being frank. The gambling of course, it's like the second out of the volumes about the gambling. I'm trying to show all the pages on the screen. Yeah, I'm not sure why he ends up in the. He gets taken through a magic jar that is essentially able to transport people in time and space back to a gambling den. I think in. I don't know if it's a different time or if it's just a different space. I don't know why he ends up going back to that gambling den, but we have a kind of like a fairly serious revelation happening at the end of the gambling den. Kind of like a gambling fight that happens. I do really, really enjoy this series. I just, unfortunately, this is probably earlier in the month, so I don't remember a lot of the specifics about it. I definitely want more people to read it, though. Next, we have the semi-final volume of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean, Volume 8. We are getting close to wrapping up the story in this volume. I think it ends right before, or right when we get to Kennedy Space Center and encounter Sea Moon. So I can't really talk about the specifics of the fights. I will talk about how utterly tiny that boy is compared to these adults and like late teenagers. It's kind of hilarious. I love how Araki makes some of these characters just the tiniest people imaginable. It's a great franchise, but I don't have to say anything about JoJo's. I just have to say my own opinion that Stone Ocean's my favorite part. Anyways, the final thing I read in February of this year was My Name is Shingo, Volume 4. We've got a lot of shit happening with Shingo this volume. We have, like, basically Shingo going absolutely crazy with realizing themselves almost seeming like they're starting to gain the sentience and really setting out to try and find the two main characters that they haven't seen in years. And a lot of shit happens because of it, including one panel that's just super stunning that you might have seen online, but I don't want to spoil it by showing it. Of course, I will just show like some of the art. Umez has a very distinctive, cool style for horror. But anyways, that is everything that I read in February of this year, and I will talk to everybody again next month for what I picked up in March. Hopefully a little bit less than February, or else I'm going to go broke. So I'll talk to you guys later.